Welcome to WO50, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello, everybody. My name is Corrine, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddi. And today our title is Intentional Living. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present.
We talked about our intentions, what we do, how we work on our sense of self and
being self-aware, and how do you find what you're intentional about is to know what's the most important thing to you. That was one of our big tips today. What is the most important thing to you?
And as we get older, we also get really intentional with our time. We spend it with family, friends, what's positive, what's negative, what helps us grow. Yeah, self-reflection, lots of stuff.
There's a lot to be said about this topic. It's very important and can help you live a more fulfilling life when you do it with intention.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Here it is. So be intentional. Hi, Ken.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm very, very good.
Yeah, you've had a busy time. Very active. And
yeah, I felt
I've
like
had a relaxing time.
Yes, you had your anniversary trip. So nice.
Just a little one. Just a little one. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. How far of a drive was it?
Oh, it's only a 45-minute drive from the city, and is it beautiful? It's called the Cliffs Edge Retreat, and it's just lovely. And we just decided to go up just for an overnight or two, and it's just lovely. It's right looking out over the ocean, and there was eagles flying, and it's got the hot tub and the sauna, and the yoga mats, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little hike, beautiful East Coast Trail hike along Witless Bay, and a lot of beautiful places to go up here. It's called the Southern Shore, and I grew up that way, and yeah, I took you there. I took you up there, but this new retreat is new. Yeah, we should do our wellness retreat there next.
Yeah, just outside of Newfoundland.
Outside of St. John's.
St. John's, that's right. St. John's, Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Just for those people listening that are not in Canada or don't know where you live. Maybe this is their first episode and they don't know us.
That's right. They know I'm in Canada and you're in the US, but it could be anywhere. So I'm in Newfoundland.
Yeah. Because Sarah posted, Sarah, we interviewed a few weeks back, and she put it in her newsletter, the podcast. And so
that was such a great podcast.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a few episodes back. If you haven't heard it, your personal guidance system, your PGS, how to listen to it and how to hit a reset. And and I've had that conversation with a few ladies in the last few days, that feel like they want to hit the reset in their lives. They still want to kind of do what they're doing, but in a less stressful way.
Yeah, and it ties into our talk because it all has to do with intention.
Yes. Yeah. When we live an intentional life, you're more present in your life. So the title of our talk today is Intentional Living. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Living with intention.
Have you ever had the disease of perfectionism?
Of course. As a student, learning, trying to be the best mother, the best educator, the best doc, the best, just trying to be everything for everybody. And then, you hit a point in your life where there's a reset and you start reflecting and going, hang on. There is no perfect. I have to get present. This is it's too overwhelming because it is future living and past living, and it's very panicky living. So perfection is,
there's nothing in nature that's perfect. You can't find anything in nature. It's all, odd, weird things and shapes and smells, and we're all unique. And so this idea that we have of it's really, if you start looking in, and I think as we get older, we realize how futile it is to try to impress people or try to show people how good we are, and feel that worthiness inside us that, that's sort of driving a lot of the things that we do. And so
Yeah.
when over 50 or maybe even before, you start to realize that you're already enough, and then you start doing things just that you enjoy, and
Hmm.
that can start by just being very intentional. So
Hmm.
how did you learn to be intentional,
Um, how did I learn how to be intentional?
or how are you intentional in your life?
Yeah, that's a better way of wording it. You know me, I go in different directions in my head with the question. How am I intentional with my life? My health is really important. You know, every day, my intention every day is there's a gratitude, a dose of vitamin G that starts the day of setting my intentions in place of going, what is it that's important to me today, right now, in the present moment? So years ago, it might have been trying to do something like my hair perfect or getting the right curl or the intention set out to, okay, do this or make someone happy. And, I'm going to do this. And I don't really want to do that, but I'm going to do that because this person wants it. Now it's changed. It's more, what is it I want to do in this moment today? Not being selfish, but just being present and I know I have to go to work and I know, I have to do some of these things, brush my teeth and tend to my health and well-being, but intentionally every day it is to get out in nature, to walk, to have a practice in place, with yoga, meditation, with good food. It's yeah, good health has always been
And
first,
health isn't just in the body.
mind and body.
Yeah. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, whole life living. Yeah.
Yeah, and decluttering, of the house or of the yard or of the weeds in the garden, like, and every day that intention changes. It's like, okay, when the weather's nice and I'm looking out at my greenhouse, like for you, you're already hands and eyes and feet and toes are in the soil.
I'm already eating my garden stuff. I
You
had a
are, I'm mine. My greenhouse, my rosemary's there. My mint is like, it's looking around going, should we go for it? And they're going for it, which is great because they're perennials and they come back and their intention is to make me happy. And my intention is to tend to them and yeah.
their
So
intention is just to grow.
yes, that's
Their
right. Which
intention is
makes
just to
which makes
grow.
me very happy.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I have nothing to do with it. They just grow.
Yeah.
They keep coming back. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
oh,
the good thing about mint. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. How
That's
about you?
Well, I feel like I have like an overall intention for my life that took me a while to understand and get to, but I think that is the operating system for my life each and every day. So every day, my intention is to be as transparent as possible. So I love the word transparency. So I
Mhm.
don't, I feel like, secrets and hiding and it just makes life complicated. Life is already complicated. So I try to be as transparent with myself and with other people as I can and just show up. My intention every day is to serve because that's what I love to do. I serve myself first, with all the my self-care practices. And then I love being at service to the rest of the world. After 12 o'clock every day is when I, go in to be of service to the rest of the world. So that's sort of my operating system, that intention.
Mm.
And because that for me, the joy and the happiness is already there. So I don't need to do anything to make me happy. I'm already happy. I'm already joyful. So it's just that intention. So I think we all have that's two different approaches, which are perfectly fine. However,
Mhm.
but just to know yourself and to know what your intentions are, because the thing is that a lot of people, a year will go by and they'll have been wanting to get out of a job, or wanting to get out of a relationship or wanting to change their relationship with their child or with their sister, for like a year or two, and nothing will have changed because they're not doing anything different to take the steps for those changes. And so
Mm-hmm.
looking at if your intentions, which are like the seed, they're the most subtle part of your life, right? And then if they match your thinking and if they match your actions,
Mm-hmm.
that's the key. So to know yourself and know what is it that you want in your life, what's important to you, and look at what your intentions are, and it does everything match.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's really good. And actually, you just made me think, and being intentional with time, you know, because every little thing requires time. And like you said something, it's like the transparency. I remember thinking back, like you said, with being truthful and honest and I've always tried to be that way with people, but sometimes thinking I'm protecting somebody, I wouldn't give the full disclose the full details, right? And then something gets said or it shows up and it wasn't transparent, right?
Yeah.
Initially, and it should have been because it
Yeah.
would have saved so much
Mm-hmm.
drama and conversation and falling out and but then there's the intention of time again. When that person's important, we put that time and make the time, and then we start working on, okay, authenticity and transparency. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
This intention, yeah, we have to be intentional with even who we spend our time with, right? We start, I think, as we get older, it becomes even that much more important that our time is spent really, well. We're not wasting time. So when we're living intentionally, we're going, okay, this is important to me. And we start making the lists of what is important. Because if you don't make time to tend to your garden falls away.
Mm-hmm.
Or in your relationships or with friendships, right? Your high school buddies or, old friends or even siblings. We kind of, siblings go in and out of things depending on what's going on in their lives. So, it's, yeah,
Yep.
yes.
Yep, it's living life consciously and aware and not just being on the hamster wheel and things going by and things in the back of your head that you've been wanting to do that just and then years go by when you don't take the steps. I did a guided meditation on death over New Year's actually. I had, New Year people here for I think it was New Year's Day this year, and I did a guided meditation where you meditate for a bit and then I guided them through, okay, if this was the last day of your life, how would you spend it? So they would visualize
Mhm.
how they would spend the last day of their life. And looking back on your life, is there anything you wish you would have done or something you wish you would have said? And it's a really powerful practice. The Buddhist practice, they actually meditate on their own death daily. That's a practice.
Wow.
And, my friend Minu, who
Mhm.
she was there for that meditation, and she kinda had tears in her eyes when the meditation was over, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I realized I wanna make my parents more of a priority because they live in India and she lives in Nashville." So she
Mm.
said, "I wanna take an extra trip, I wanna see them more." And she said, "And I wanna create a course, like, I wanna download what I know and what I teach to people and create a course around it because I don't want to leave this earth without doing that. And so she's actually been
Wow.
working her butt off. I think her deadline was yesterday. I've got to call and check and see how it
Wow.
went, but she created an online course. And so that can be a really beautiful practice too. And you can just even journal about it. What if
Mhm.
this was your last day or last week on the planet? How would you spend it? And is there any regrets or anything you wish you would have spent your time differently the past year or so?
Wow. So the intention is really self reflection and personal
Hmm.
growth is what
Hmm.
happens. Growth out of everything. We just keep growing. That's great. That's great
Yeah, that's a good one.
to
Yeah, and you
do
can
that.
do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go on a retreat to do anything. You just journal about it. Just write the question at the top of the page and then see what happens. And even your
Yeah.
intentions you can write down. I think a good question to find out to figure out if your intentions are matching your actions is to say what you said at the beginning, what is important to me? because everybody's different what's important to you. And does it match? It's when I do coaching with people, I'll ask them sort of what is important to them, and it doesn't really match how they're acting. Like I had this one woman who it was really important for her, her health was, but
Mm.
she wasn't looking after her health, and so her
Yeah.
blueprint of her life and how she was acting and her intentions in her life didn't match what was important to her.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's interesting. It's like somebody saying family and friends are really important, but they don't have the time to spend with them.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. It's a perfect example. Yes.
Yes. Or, it's a beautiful thing to look at, even, when we sit and reflect on, even if it's the intention of going, okay, I'm going to sit back and just reflect on how I deal with, my point of view, my bird's eye view of a certain person in the family, or how they live their life, and how it doesn't kind of jive with mine. Okay, having that reflection is a beautiful thing, because and growing from that, to say that's okay, they get to have their life and live the way they want. Just because, it's like years ago, you'd think what other people think of you, right? We're also concerned with that. And then now the saying is, what other people think of us is none of our business,
Yeah.
whether it is or it isn't, right? It shouldn't matter. That should not be our gauge, that our measurement stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we think of ourselves is one of the most important things, the
Mm-hmm.
personal growth in that. And how have I grown from being able to even, because I've had to do it personally myself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
You as well, with friends, with family, with
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And it's not always been easy, but it's beautiful to self-reflect. And only
Mm-hmm.
that expression, how it is. And that's what's beautiful about, being such wonderful individuals out there. We all get to kind of be who we are, which is that beautiful transparency, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
The
I work on that every day,
the
every day.
greatest gift that you can give anybody is to allow people to be who they are. And that sounds like a very simple statement, and yet how often do we allow people to be who they are? If you think about the most challenging person in your life,
Hmm.
are you allowing them to be who they are? Because usually the most challenging person, they're not just challenging with you, they're challenging with everybody, but they are being who they are. I tell people, don't keep it, if that person's a zebra, don't keep expecting a horse.
Yeah.
Allow people and allow your, and then when you give other people permission to be who they are, then you get to decide if you want to spend time with that person and if you
Hmm.
want to nourish that relationship. If you allow that person to be who they are, but their values aren't the same, even if it's a family member, then you just don't, you're not hanging out with them as much. But
Hmm.
I mean, that's all we all want. We all want to be like accepted,
Yeah.
for who we are. Exactly. And so, it's all sort of doing the self-reflective work to find out what's important, what our judgments are, how are we staying in our own lane, so that then we can really feel into is important to us to find out if we're living intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can even prioritize what's important. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point of being intentional. When you're
Yeah.
intentional, when you know what's important to you, because a lot of people don't even know, don't
Hmm.
ask themselves the question, what's important to me? I don't know that I phrased it like that until several years ago when I was on a retreat and one of my teachers asked someone, and then he also has a book called What the Most Important Thing. And he
Hmm.
talks about how knowing what's the most important thing to your in your life then helps you for your choices, because every single choice you make, every single thought, single choice, every single step that you take every day is either going towards you where you want to be or away from where you want to be.
Hmm.
Every single thing you put in your mouth, every single phone call you make, every single trip to the grocery store and things you buy, every single trip you plan, everything you do is either going towards where you want to be or
Mhm.
away from where you want to be.
Yeah. That intention, the priority of what matters most,
Mm-hmm.
and letting
So,
go what matters least. It helps you
yeah.
set your priorities, it helps get them in order pretty quickly
Mm-hmm.
when we can go, really, I'm stuck on that. And I've been mulling that thought over and over. Is that really important? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it that important? And then we start letting some of the stuff go. That's not,
Mm-hmm.
it's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Weeding the garden of your mind,
Mhm.
you know.
What was it?
I w-
What was it? You said rumination is like weeds.
oh
Who
yeah,
said that? Someone said that.
we might have said it on our garden
Our garden
our garden
podcast. Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, yeah, which I think
That's
I'm
funny.
posting this week. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, excellent. That's a good line. I kept the ruminating negative thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it have to be negative thoughts because not all weeds are negative, like
No weeds are
dandelions.
negative. A weed
That's
is
right.
is a plant that isn't where you want it to be.
That's
So
right.
same with your thoughts are just it's not energy, say you're thinking about something that you're worried about. They say worrying is praying for what you don't want, or worrying is losing twice.
Or using your imagination to create things you don't want.
Exactly. Exactly. So when you start to dissect how are you spending your time, because you're thinking is we have a lot of time. I mean, this brain, man, we have 85,000 thoughts in a day. That's a lot. And
Hmm.
you don't really we don't have any control over the thoughts that come in, but we have 100% control of what we decide to focus on and look at and put energy into.
Yeah.
So
And
when
that's
you
that's the point, intentional living, right?
mhm,
It's
is
yeah.
knowing what your important things are, knowing how you're spending your time. Is there a match? And then you think about what your intentions are. I could never have a garden if my intention wasn't to have a garden. I know that a garden is important to me. So I start planning even in the winter what I'm going to
Mhm.
be doing. That's how I'm spending a certain part of every day, so that you can think of things in your life that are like that.
Mhm. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Living with
Intentions are
intention.
powerful. Mm-hmm.
Very powerful. It's like another podcast we did. It's like the manifesting. If you know what you want, you think it and you get the magnetic flow going. Well, intention, thought, energy, intention, focus. It should
Yeah.
get easier and easier. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think about when I was young and before I knew all this stuff, I felt like I was like in a pinball machine through life. Like I was ping, 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 that the universe was like, I was like a ping pong ball for the universe. I was just going all over the place and I was at the whim of wherever the universe, because I wasn't aware of my thoughts and the congruency and all the stuff that we've been talking about today. I didn't know anything about it. And it
Yeah.
was really through large amounts of disappointment and frustration that I was like, whoa, let's put the brakes on here. Why is there some people that have really amazing lives? What are they doing? And they're really happy. And so I really started to dissect the brain and the mind and the personality and the thoughts and meditation and all of that. And you'd think I would have gone into like psychology. I'm so glad I didn't. Because I maybe would have been stuck in that lane. But that's what I've had a fascination with. And now the difference is now when I know that I have the power, it's like we're all little creators.
Hmm.
We're all creating our life, what we just don't realize. And once you realize that you are the creator of your own life and reality, now, does that mean we write everything that happens in our life? No. There are people, as you could tell us, that eat everything perfect, have a wonderful life and they get cancer or Parkinson's or whatever. There are things that happen, car accidents happen, things,
Hmm.
life happens, tragedy happens, joy happens. But there we are little creators and we do have the capacity to create different things in our life, in the box of our life, of our lifespan. We can make things happen just like the garden.
Yeah. And I think really recognizing your own sense of self, right? That's the whole point of it. You're the when you realize you're creating this life, and knowing yourself, like just really knowing who you are, what you want, what because when people come into my office and they go, "Well, I don't know if I really like this and I don't know, there's so much indecisiveness, right?" And I go, "Well, have you had time to just sit back and see even if you like the colors on your walls, or has there been other influences that allowed those colors to appear? Did you even say you yes to those wall colors?" They're like, "Oh my God, no, I didn't. I don't even like the color of our living room, but one of the kids picked it out and I just went along." And then we reach a point, especially, as we get older. I think after 50, we really start, kind of digging deep and going, what do I like? Do I like what I'm even wearing? Do I like this color? Does this music I listen to, like the food I'm eating, this exercise that I have done? Like they're running and then all of a sudden they go, what am I running from? Or
Hmm.
maybe I should start running, like, or do something different. This is beautiful because that's the intention, right? There's the intention you set for yourself is what is it within yourself that you're searching for?
Hmm. And to know yourself, that's key. You would think
What
we
makes
would
you
know
feel
our,
good?
yeah, what are you feeling drawn to?
Hmm.
Because I don't like to say the word what makes you feel good because it's like there you have to already find that joy and happiness within yourself. And so it doesn't mean we don't aren't drawn to something we want to experience, but just to make sure that you aren't looking to change something, you aren't looking to be happier once you have that. I guess that's the caveat that
Yeah,
I want
what
to say.
yeah, and what
Yeah.
I meant, like, what makes you feel good? I don't mean, well, my good, you could sit down and eat chocolate all day long. I don't mean it like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, good catch.
Yeah.
I mean it by when the sense, right? That inner GPS system, like Sarah
Yeah.
talked about. What is that sensation of joy? Whether as soon as you paint that color on the wall, you're like, oh my God, I feel so relaxed here, sitting here with my tea. And like, what is the feeling
Yeah.
that's moving through?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so to know yourself is seems like a funny thing to say because well, I know myself. I've lived with myself since I was born. But how many people know themselves at 20? Like
yeah.
not at all. I mean, I just spent time with my two beautiful nieces and it's so awesome to see them discovering themselves in their mid 20s
Hmm.
and me just kind of gently trying to guide them to know that they have choices and to not be at the whim of what everybody else is saying on the outside and to find their north star within themselves, you know.
Hmm.
And so to know yourself is really one of the reasons why we're here as humans. And then once you get comfortable and you know and you because a lot of people don't see themselves clearly. They don't see when they tell little white lies. They don't
Yeah.
see when they're dishonest. They don't see because they've been doing it their whole lives. They learned from their parents, you know. They don't just see that they have like a negative way of thinking or that they there's so many patterns that we have. So just to start to see yourself clearly, the negative
Hmm.
and like all of it cuz
Or even, it's funny when you said that. I remember my family. Uh, my dad could take a story and stretch it. It would be really big, like it, and I found I had that gift of storytelling to be able to kind of extrapolate
yes, you
and
do.
just woo. And now though, it's really lovely that even in the work I do with people, I can use that skill with describing a certain illness or a certain type of bacteria that overgrows in the gut, right? To a child where their eyes get huge and they're like, oh, well, I better not eat too much of that then, because we use the skill of stories, but more. I love it more now in a more positive way. Where if we're trying to protect somebody and we're not being totally honest or totally truthful, we're afraid we're going to hurt somebody. It's always better to just really say it and move through it. I just, whatever it is, I can't, I'm sure there's lots in there, but I'm not one's not coming to my head to spit out right now. I'm sure you could spit out some from for me. But it's nice when we can recognize that, wow, yeah, I used to do that and I don't do that anymore. And that's
Mm-hmm.
so cool. Or I
Mm-hmm.
used to not say what I wanted to say just to protect somebody. And I don't do that anymore. And,
Mm-hmm.
just to recognize and self reflect on that growth
Mm-hmm.
that's intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have the power. We are little creators. We
Mhm.
do, as Wayne Dyer said, manifest our destiny,
Mhm.
you know? And I love that there's a poem I sent around to everybody on New Year's that was about that your destiny is your life right now. It's the life you're living right now. It's not looking outside to somebody else's life, not looking to something in the future you want to experience. Although that, there's part of that that is in there too, but really taking each moment of every day and seeing yourself clearly and embracing your own journey, whatever that is, and
Mhm.
trying to live every day with an intention to see yourself clearly and to, be curious and to discover life as it unfolds.
Yes, and nurture what matters most.
Yeah. Figure out what's
Stay,
important.
yeah, stay curious is my favorite word this year.
Yes. Stay curious is the best.
It is.
Best. Well, Ed, that was good. Are we wrapping it up?
We are. We're going to wrap it up. There's only so much you can say about intention. Now let's become intentional.
Yes, do it, and then send
Do
us
it.
an email and let us know how that's shifted your perspective.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
life is all about our perspective and how we look, and that can change. If you think you can, and if you think you can't, you can't.
that's right. Some
So,
wise person said that somewhere.
so know yourself and
That's right.
stay curious. Right?
That's it. Yes.
All
That
right.
was great.
Well,
Always fun.
it was great, Ed. Love you. And we really appreciate everybody who's listening. Share it with
Yes.
somebody who you think needs it. And we love getting together. It's always a highlight for me. I'm always excited on podcast day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Have a great one.